I am shocked. For the first time in my lifetime, and I believe if we trace this in the history of America, shots have been fired directly at the existence of the church by the United States Supreme Court. I was interacting with some pastors on a pastor's forum about this ruling last week, and one of the pastors said flippantly, "Oh, this shouldn't shock anyone." But yet it does, and it should, because it represents a specific shift in the attitude and the treatment of churches in America. I'm going to describe what that is in a second. First, the ruling that happened from the Supreme Court. It was about a Nevada church. And this is on July 24th, just a short while ago. The CNN, so you don't think I'm biased or anything, I'm just going to someone who's pretty anti-church. CNN reported it this way. It says the U.S. Supreme Court on Friday denied a petition from a church in Nevada that argued a policy limiting in-person church attendance to 50 during the coronavirus pandemic violated the Constitution. The decision was 5-4. The church argued that the state policy treated church services differently than other large gatherings, including casinos, gyms, restaurants. Also including that was bars, strip clubs. And the ruling from Nevada was that it was legal for casinos, gyms, restaurants, bars, strip clubs to open to 50% capacity. But churches specifically were not allowed in all of the large gatherings, so they're trying to, whatever. They're just to be fair, were limited to 50 people or less versus 50% of their capacity. You're talking about some churches in Nevada have the capacity for 4,000 people, 5,000 people in their building, and you're limiting them to 50, where a casino that has the same capacity can have 2,000 people in their building, 2,500 people in their building. And the Supreme Court voted that down in a 5-4 ruling. And the shift that this represents is specifically since the 60s, the Supreme Court has been telling churches, you have to stay in the church. You can't be in our education sphere. You can't be in our political sphere. You can't be in our courtrooms. We can't have Christians or prayer or Bible represented in our Congress or the opening of House of Representatives or those kinds of things. You have to stay at the church. You have to stay in your building. You only belong there. You can't solicit. You can't go out and talk to people about Jesus. All of these things are core to who we are. Evangelism is the Great Commission. It's what Jesus' last words. It's what he told us to do. To go and preach to all people, everywhere. He didn't say in a church. But they've been coming against us in that way and saying, no, you have to stay in the church. This represents a specific shift in their thinking to that now they're coming after the very existence of the church and discriminating against the church itself. It is better, and I'll go to another article now. This one is from Fox News, where it actually quotes the dissenting judges. And basically they said, in Nevada, it seems it is better to be in entertainment than religion. This is Justice Gorsuch. He said, maybe that is nothing new, but the First Amendment prohibits such obvious discrimination against exercise of religion. So our Constitution prohibits this. It does not prohibit discriminating against casinos and gyms and restaurants. It does prohibit discriminating against churches, specifically. That said, it's still been done. The Supreme Court has done it. They've taken the shot. And now what is our response? As churches, as Christians, There is only one response, and this isn't political. This isn't health. Is saying nothing about the health of this at all. This is saying, what should you be doing in your time with the Lord about this? We have to pray. We have to believe God, and we have to stand up. This is a hill that I will stand and I will fight on. And if that means persecution, bring it. If that means someone gets sent to jail, look, this is a hill we have to fight on. Lots of people are fighting for all kinds of causes, but this is the deepest held belief of every true Christian. If you are a Christian, this should hurt to your core, that someone would take a shot at the very existence of Christ's body, the church, and our ability to gather. Right now, in America, it is more lawful to gather as a Christian in communist China than it is in California. That is fact. It is easier to gather as a church because California has not only come after churches, they've come after house churches, life groups, small groups. And so the churches have had to go underground entirely to a great degree in California, or they're acting in disobedience to the law. We will be pushed to civil disobedience. Now, I live in Michigan. My church is in Michigan. And thankfully, we haven't been discriminated against in the same way. However, this affects every American. Why? Because this didn't come from a state. This came from the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States. Which means that everyone who wants to take a shot at a church now has their opportunity. Now precedent has been set. And these cases aren't even going to get to the Supreme Court anymore because they've already ruled on it. And discriminating against the church can be common. Persecuting the church can be common. I will stand against this. You, if you are a believer, need to stand against this. This is your fight. The fight has come to you. And I would charge you with, pray. Understand your responsibility as a Christian trumps your responsibility as a citizen of the United States of America. You are first a citizen of heaven. This is unacceptable. I will obey. The apostles themselves said to the Sanhedrin, we must obey God rather than men. And that's where it falls. I love you. I'm praying for you. We never asked for this fight, but the fight has come to us. And I will stand. Will you stand with me?